Hello, people of the internet.
Yeah. Do we have any, pod news?
No.
No. Okay, what news have you got?
There's been a lot of rides being finished, essentially. Like Cobhead Strike finished, Tiger or however you pronounce that, finished. So we're not going to talk about those because they've been finished, but they're not open yet. Who cares? The real big news of the past week or so has been the demise of Volcano the Blast coaster at King's Dominion in the States.
Aww.
And many people are sad to see this absolute mess of a ride go. Yeah. I mean, people are, it's a very unique ride. It was one of the first, if not, oh, there you go, yeah. It was the first launched inverted coaster, which is pretty cool. It's the Intamin's only launched full circuit inverted coaster. And it was just pretty wacky. It was one of the first roller coasters to feature a magnetic launch.
Mm-hmm.
So it was unique, but it is a mess. I mean, have you seen the supports on it?
You showed me the supports.
It's a right mess. They basically took the volcano and just ruined it. Honestly though, I'm looking at a picture right now. You can't see past this grid of supports. It's just, But no, it's dead. It hasn't been operating since.
Wait, so it's probably never going to operate again?
No, it's permanently closed.
Oh.
It stopped operating during the 2018 season and was closed for most of it.
People can't even ride it as the last time.
Nope. They're doing what Blackpool did and just turn around and go, oh yeah, this ride, it's not coming back. Which is a bit rude.
They're going to do that, I thought, with the log flume.
Yeah, well, Thorpe's log flume's already dead and has been dead for a while.
Yeah, but that'd be really sad because I want to go on it one more time.
Not really. It's not coming back. It's only a log flume.
Yeah, but it's my log flume.
That's pretty crap. So yeah, volcano's going. People don't really know what's going to happen next. Do they keep the volcano? Do they not?
So there is a massive volcano there?
Yeah. It was from before the ride. Well, the whole volcano is covered in a mess of supports now. So if you think you've got to take these supports down, it's going to be expensive to do it without completely wrecking the volcano by accident.
Yeah.
So it's easier just to demolish it all.
And also, they're not going to build another volcano ride, are they?
Well, I don't know. I don't even think the park knows what they're doing, to be honest. So time will tell. But yeah, no. Volcano dies.
Bye.
But out of the ashes of Gwazi, which is a dueling wooden roller coaster that closed in 2015 at Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay, that ride has started to be partially demolished, ready for it to be reborn as an RMC coaster.
Mm-hmm.
So they're taking, by the looks of it, so they've demolished one of the two lift hills, and a decent portion of the track. By the looks of it, they are tearing down, instead of making two new rides, they're making two old ones a single coaster now.
Right.
So they're taking the two individual tracks, removing some of it and combining them together.
Yeah, joining up again.
Yeah.
That's weird.
So it'll be one big boy, and it's meant to be the tallest of its kind. So rip Cedar Point. Sucks to suck. But yeah, no. So this is cool. There's a picture of just the half of the supports and track missing, where the other half is still there, which is quite odd. But yeah, no, it's interesting to see what that's going to be like. But other than that, yeah, it's just things are being finished. Steel Curtain's still going. Tigress is maybe finished. I don't know. Don't really care. But that's about it. Thank you for watching.
So we're going to take a break from our little coaster history series this week and decided to do an episode about basically tips and tricks and hacks in the coaster realm. Yeah, I don't know. We're just going to tell you, well, Harry's going to spread his many tips that he has for visiting.
For the few parks that we've been to multiple times.
Yeah. Alton Towers, Thorpe Park, you know the ones.
Basically only those two.
Yeah. And yeah, we're just going to tell you we're going to tell you what to do. No. We're just going to share some of our little things that we figured out along the way.
Yes, and other people are going to do the same. So
we got loads of replies on Twitter, so there's loads of coaster hacks for you to listen to. It's been kind of interesting, actually.
Yeah, definitely, to compare what we do with what other people do. You know, some people do similar stuff, some people do completely the opposite for some reason.
They're wrong.
Well, but you know, we're just gonna see if you can benefit from it, even if you don't live anywhere near where we're talking about.
One day you'll get there and you'll be like, oh, I remember what they said on that podcast.
Until everything changes.
Yeah, and then everything we say is going to be wrong.
Yeah.
Nah, we're just going to share what we know. It's probably it all depends on the day, depends on timings and everything. So, you know.
To be fair, most parks I feel are very kind of regimented in how things operate. As long as you get to the park at, opening, you can really follow a set routine each time. It doesn't really change that much unless something's down or broken or closed,
Yeah, we do have kind of our set. You have your little plan.
Yeah, but it saves time. It's a good plan.
Yeah. It's funny when we go to theme parks with friends and everyone's just kind of because obviously they all know that you love theme parks, and they're like, oh, okay, so no one else has a plan. No one else cares. They're just we're just going to go and do whatever, whenever. And I'm like, guys, okay, so here's the plan.
Yeah, but having a plan really works, though.
I know. And then when they follow us and do the plan, they're like, oh my God, we've done so much stuff today. And I'm like, welcome. This is not a lot compared to what we normally do. It's funny.
So, when we went with your brother, we only went for half a day, and their friends went for the full day, and we ended up getting on more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because we knew the order of things to do.
Exactly.
We used the apps to see what was the best queue times, what was shorter. You really just got to take advantage of the tools at your disposal, But also you got to know the park, which is why this episode is useful if you don't know the parks, because Harry knows the parks like the back of his hand. Well, yeah, some of them.
Yeah, 2 of them.
So let's start with Alton Towers, the big boy.
Big boy
UK.
Towers. What we'll do is we'll give our tips and then we'll read the Twitter stuff, see what everyone's agreeing on.
So realistically, the best plan for Alton Towers, if you can get early entry, well, this is as of this year, Wicker Man is on early ride time, so it opens 30 minutes before everything else.
Was it on last year?
It was on last year as well, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you can do that, if you can get into the park half an hour before other people, essentially you ride Wicker Man, which is obviously good because then you save yourself a load of time. Then you go over to X Sector. Then you can ride, depending on how much time you have.
Normally we try and hit the Smiler, don't we?
Yeah. So if the park still has it gets complicated, right? Because usually Alton Towers will open, and most theme parks will open 10 minutes before the actual opening time.
Yeah.
So they start letting people in 10 minutes before. Usually it's 10, so 10 to 10.
Which is why if we don't have early ride time, we have to make sure we're there at 9:30.
Yes, exactly.
So that as soon as they open the doors, we're right at the front and we just run in.
Yeah. So if you can ride, again, they'll probably open it slightly earlier for the early ride time as well. So if you can ride Wicker Man within the first 10 minutes, go over to X Sector, ride Oblivion, which is also on early ride time, then you have 2 done. After that, you basically just join the pre-queue for the Smiler. Smiler opens at 10, ride that. Then you go over to the Dark Forest and you do Rita and 13. Realistically, it shouldn't matter too much which one you do first. Rita's probably a safer bet.
They're quite temperamental, these two.
Yeah. I'd say Rita's a safer bet to do first, just because it generally... Sometimes the queue can be really long. Sometimes it can, whatever. So you do those two. And if you're lucky, you should be able to get those two done relatively quickly. Hopefully you were near the front of the Smiler's pre-queue. You got on the Smiler in 10, 15 minutes. You know, you're over to Dark Forest. 15 minutes for Rita, maybe 25 for 13, or vice versa. Then you have to make the long pilgrimage to the Forbidden Valley, which is either you can wait in a queue. Well, the Sky Ride opens at 11. So if it's already 11 by that point, you know, you could wait in a queue.
It probably will be 11.
Or you have to walk through the gardens. And the best way to do this, realistically, is to try to visualize.
Oh, you're trying to explain how you walk through?
Yeah. You don't want to take the spooky path, whatever it's called. What's that called now?
Oh, you mean past Jewel?
Yeah.
The one where the
Haunted Hollow.
are.
You don't want to take the Haunted Hollow.
Yeah.
If you're coming from the towers direction and you're going over that bridge across the path into the gardens, and you're going down towards the lake's on your left-hand side, when you hit, there's like a junction where there's a downward right slope into the gardens, or you can carry on forwards towards Battle Galleons. You take that fork, you kind of just follow it straight all the way to the Forbidden Valley, and it's much faster than going all the way to the Haunted Hollow and up the Haunted Hollow and then all the way down where Jewel is. So realistically, you kind of, to navigate towers best, you just need to explore.
Yeah.
Like, it's only through going to the parks with other people that I knew about these kind of shortcuts, you know, so...
Yeah, because it doesn't really look like a main path, so you wouldn't just be like, oh, this is the way.
No. But once you've made the 10, 15-minute journey over to Forbidden Valley, realistically, you probably want to ride Galactica first. Galactica will be on probably a lengthy queue at this point.
Galactica's a nightmare. You just gotta do it.
It might be on a lengthy queue, it might not. It really depends on the day. But Nemesis is always dead, so you could do Nemesis whenever.
Yeah.
But that's a plan if you want to ride the big boys. If you want to get on the other stuff as well, the plan is slightly different, which makes it harder. Because for the Runaway Mine Train, if you want to ride it, you want to ride it earlier on in the day because you want to ride it before they open the extended queue line.
Yeah.
So the queue time goes from 10 minutes at the front of the gate, literally the entrance to the ride. If it's backing out of there and the extension queue line is not open, 10 minutes. If the extension queue line's open and it's there, 40 minutes. So you really want to get there beforehand. And same with...
Make sure you know what queue you're getting yourself into.
Well, exactly. You kind of need to have a peer over to see if it's open.
Yeah.
And same with Octonauts. Octonauts is on the early ride time. If you want to ride it, just get it done. So
definitely do it in early ride time, because do you remember when we did it?
Yeah.
It's just dead, because obviously the kids aren't going to be... There's not enough kids for there to be like a long queue at that point. So.
Yeah. So your best option is to have like 2 days. The first day you follow the big boy ride routine, and then the second day you follow the smaller ride routine, you know, like Wicker Man Octonauts, Runaway Mine Train, and then you could head down to Forbidden Valley and get on Galactica early. But the first one is mainly the way that I follow it, because then you end up doing the rides in clumps. So not only are you trying to get on rides in the order of when the queues are going to be shortest, because the Smiler is still a very popular ride and Wicker Man is as well.
Yeah.
You're minimizing the distance between each point.
Yeah, because imagine if you did, say, like Wicker Man and the Smiler, and then Galactica, and then you went back and did Oblivion. You'd just be spending like literally half your time walking. So
once you've done all of those, realistically, you're free to do what you want, you know. Wicker Man's
riding.
Yes, Wicker Man's definitely worth doing later on in the day. So you can do that. Alton Towers queue lines and Merlin queue lines, they close at closing time. Not the park closes, say, at 5. That means the queue lines close at 5. So the rides still operate after 5 as long as you're in the queue. Yeah. So even if Wicker Man's on an hour queue, at 5 to 5, you hop in the queue, you wait the hour, and you still get to ride it. So essentially, you're using like free time to ride it.
Yeah. And also, I feel like the operators are a lot quicker after the park shut because obviously they want to go home.
They want to go home. The fast track, people aren't using fast track anymore because that queue's closed.
Yeah.
Same with this pass. So everything does speed up once the park has, quote, closed.
Yeah.
So the queues aren't really as long as you think they are. But especially Wicker Man speeds up towards the end of the day.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
if you're going
Although
to do...
saying that, when we went at Halloween, we still queued like how long?
Like 2 hours or so.
Couple of hours, even when we got in the queue at the last second. So
yeah,
if it's like a busy weekend, especially like the event weekends, then, you know, just be like prepared.
But no, Wicker Man definitely speeds up. There's a tangible difference between riding Wicker Man in the morning and riding it last thing.
Yeah.
So I do recommend riding Wicker Man more than once at very different times in the day, just so you kind of get the
If you're
the
going to
full
ride
gist.
it once, I would ride it last minute.
Later. Yeah, same. Definitely.
Yeah.
So what did other people think about the best way to...
Okay, this person said, I don't know what they're called, it's like Jazz P or something. Be there for opening or make use of ERT if possible.
Yep.
Tick. Start at X sector, then Rita/13, and then towards Nemesis, doing a complete circle.
That's what exactly
Yeah, but
the same
they've
as...
missed out Wicker Man.
Well, yeah, but...
Do Wicker Man. Last 10 minutes before park closure is a perfect time to ride Nemesis.
Yeah.
You can get a solid 5 front row rides like I did in the space of 8 minutes.
So that's true. You have to weigh up what you want to do. Because the Forbidden Valley, that is both Nemesis and usually Galactica at this point, is dead in the last half an hour. Saying that, that's not even true. Most days, Forbidden Valley's dead. Dark Forest is relatively dead as well. So you can get quite a few rides on Nemesis, Galactica, Rita and 13 if you're in the last 20 minutes of the day, usually.
Yeah.
So...
But it's like, do you want to do that or do you want to ride Wicker Man?
Yeah, so you have to kind of weigh it up. Maybe you could try and ride Nemesis a few times, then leg it to Wicker Man, and just join the queue 1 minute before it closes, you know?
But if Nemesis is dead during the whole day, then you've probably already done it at least 3 times.
This is true, but, you know, yeah, if you want to get, like, a chain of front row rides, then...
Yeah.
Next.
Harrison said, get on Rita early before it breaks down.
Yeah, it's very
Literally,
true.
though.
Which is why you try and do it in the first kind of like half an hour. Again, following the same routine.
Glenn says, with sparse ERT, surely you have to hit Wicker Man first and then head to Galactica, Nemesis and Blade.
Yeah, there's... The only problem with that is then you have to make the trek all the way over to the other side.
Yeah.
And that 15-minute trek eats into your Dark Forest is a lot less busy time.
Exactly.
Which is why I say you do X sector, because it's a much shorter journey. And then you can...
Smiler's normally a crazy queue.
Yeah, Smiler and Galactica on usually like busy days will have roughly the same queue, so...
Yeah. Somebody else agreed that you should get in the Wicker Man queue 5 minutes before it closes.
Yep. There comes Spinball as well.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Spinball is a weird beast.
There's never good time for that.
Well, you say that. When me and Aaron went in 2017, we did my patent pending circuit of Alton Towers, which we nailed, absolutely nailed, right? We properly nailed it, like Octonauts, the Oblivion, getting the Smiler queue, first people in the Smiler pre-queue, front row, first train of the Smiler, then over to the others and so forth. And then we came back, so it was like 1:30. We came back to the start, and lo and behold, Spinball, dead.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why on that day it was so dead.
Everyone was eating lunch.
I guess. But Spinball, because it's at the start, you'd want to ride it. You really need to ride it in the middle of the day. At the start of the day, people are coming in, so it's right there. At the end of the day, people are leaving, it's right there.
I feel like lunchtime is a good time for that.
Yes,
because
you have to kind of balance.
It's like kids that ride that one, and for kids, like when it's lunchtime, they all properly go and sit down and have lunch. They don't do what we do, where you like eat in the queue. So if you do it at lunchtime, it's more likely there's not going to be as many people.
Yeah. And Spinboard is one of those rides where, some rides you ride once and you can feel a lot of satisfaction from it. Riding Spinboard 2 or 3 times in a row,
it's funnier.
It gets you a lot, like, I don't know, it just feels better than riding some of the other coasters twice.
Yeah. It's because it's different every time as well.
Yeah. So
it's just funny. Somebody said get on Rita as soon as it opens, usually around 11.
Well, yeah. So Alton Towers used to stagger openings, which, again, every year the park changes the way things happen. So you have to adjust your kind of plan.
Yeah.
Because it used to be that the the Dark Forest opened at 10:30. Mm-hmm. Which was still pretty perfect for the plan, because you just do X sector, then wait to go on a ride.
Yeah.
But then it changed to 11, which obviously delayed things a lot.
I remember this specific day that it ruined our plans.
But now everything opens at the same time, I think. The park haven't said anything about staggered openings. I think it's all 10. So you can use the plan in its best form.
We've got a very controversial opinion here. From Amber, she says start at the back of the park near Galactica and Nemesis and then work your way around to the newer rides.
No, man. It's not where it's at. It's not where it's at. The whole, like, back of the park thing, which is a good strat for parks that are more parky. Alton Towers is a mess. There's no back of the park when they're all so far away from each other anyway. You know?
I see what she's getting at, but in theory it's good. In practice, it's not.
But again, it brings to the point of, well, you starting off in Forbidden Valley puts you so far away from everything else in that first hour. The first hour of the park is the golden hour, yeah. That is when you want to be getting on the coasters. Same with the last hour. So make sure, if you want the best time out of your day, you are on park for the first and last hour. Those are the crucial ones.
You can faff about the rest of the time.
Yes.
Do what you want.
Yep. Honestly, you'll ride so much in the first hour compared to any other hour following. Yeah. So
that's why I don't understand people who get there like an hour after it opens.
Yeah. Well,
I was like, what are you doing?
Most families do that. I was always like itching when I used to go to Alton Towers as a kid, and my parents were like, oh, what time should we get there? And I'm thinking, please get there for opening. We need to be early. It's like, oh, we'll just get there for like shortly after opening. I'm like, no.
That is such a waste.
I know, exactly.
Just after it opens.
Yeah. It's
no.
That's why I was always so anxious, I was always raring to go, and no.
I remember when we first started going properly, and I was like, oh my God, we're going to have to get up so early to just get there.
Yeah.
I was like, what is happening?
See, it's keen, but you have to be keen to get
keen.
To make them boast.
Though, exactly.
You have to, yeah. So,
because otherwise, hat on and get in the car.
Yeah, you just have to deal with it. Honestly.
That's all everybody had to say about that specific thing. What other tips have you got? Come on.
For Alton Towers.
Yeah. How do you avoid the queues? Well, we've kind of done that.
Go on a non-busy day.
Yeah, off-peak.
So,
do not go on a Saturday.
I'm trying to think of the best off-peak day. Usually it's Wednesday,
yeah,
right?
I was going to say Wednesday.
Wednesday's a good day.
But now if we tell everyone Wednesday, it's not going to be a good day.
Yeah. If you can, essentially you want to go in like March. March, not on a weekend, is relatively dead. April, when the schools are still in, so not April half term.
Do not go in Easter or whatever.
No. April midweek, where the schools are in, dead. September, dead, like proper dead.
September is so dead. Even like Saturdays.
The park starts to get busy. I'd say June is when the park goes from dead to
rammed.
Busy, yeah. So the further you go in on June, the worse it gets. Like me and Aaron, we went 12th. When Taylor came over, they went like the 27th.
Yeah.
Me and Aaron experienced 15-minute queues. Taylor experienced 60-minute queues. So the difference is really there. And if you are going to go sometime in summer, like before the proper summer, then early June, late May, again avoiding half terms and such is a good time to go. Always not the weekend.
Yeah.
Pretty much like any theme park though, isn't it?
But if you have to go in like peak time, like in the holidays or like summer, just do like 2 days.
Yeah.
And you should get everything done. Because they did, didn't they, on the coaster tour?
They did. I always used to, when I was a kid, go with my friends after schools broke up for summer. We would always go like the first week of the
Because
break.
nobody's figured out what they're going to do yet, are they?
Yeah. So like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, one of those days, start straight away, you know. And it was always, it's busy, but it wasn't as busy as it could be, you know. So again, if you need a time, that's a good one.
Okay, tips on where to stay if people don't live near.
Don't know, man. I live near.
We've stayed there before though.
Mm-hmm.
It was okay. We got a deal, didn't we? It was like 50% off in the Sun or something.
Yeah, it was Sun 50, and it cost us 50 quid for a room in the Splash Landings hotel with breakfast. No tickets, but we didn't need it because we had Marlin passes.
Yeah.
But 50 quid for a night for 2 people and breakfast.
The breakfast was good.
It was very good.
And you could literally just like roll out of bed and you're there, which was insane to us at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was good. Like, look out for deals because they do them. Somebody had a good tip about this, which I need to do, but it's kind of a cheat, so we'll whisper it. If booking that doesn't make sense. Book for one adult only, and then add guests nearer the time and pay the difference.
Really?
That's what they said. Ensure you get a room with capacity first, such as lodges. So I don't know if that would work with like a hotel room.
Yeah, that's
so you
weird.
basically essentially you book a room for one adult.
Yeah.
And then you go, oh no, like closer to the time you're like, oh sorry, I need to add somebody else as well. And essentially the difference that you'd pay to add another person makes it cheaper than it would have been in the first place to book 2 people.
That's weird.
I know.
Wow.
I'm going to try that.
There you go then.
But we'd never said that because that's cheating.
Yeah. Honestly, accommodation at Alton Towers is something that I don't really know much about.
The thing with that is like, it's nowhere near a major city or anything of that kind. So
yeah. It's
either you're going to stay at Alton Towers and pay probably like a bit more than you normally would and be like right there, or you're going to get a weird B&B in a little village.
Yeah, literally.
Which is also going to be quite expensive because B&Bs are. Or you're going to stay in a travel lodge or whatever.
But you're still like 40 minutes away.
Yeah, so you still got to drive.
Yeah.
And then so the cost of like how much cheaper a travel lodge would be would probably like not be worth the hassle once you've done it all. But it depends how far away you live, I guess.
Yeah, very much so.
Anyway. Yeah, so that's a good tip. I like that. Mm-hmm. Okay, what's your like, well, you've already said one of the secret pathways. Mm-hmm. Is there any other ones?
Yeah, so secret pathway to get to, not really secret, to get to Rita and 13, to get to the entrances of them, don't go through the towers. You know, you get to the like crossroads junction, where the towers is on your right. You want to go under the arch of the towers to start heading towards the Dark Forest. Don't go that way. You want to take the left instead. So instead of going under the arch, instead of going under the arch, you take a left between the arch and the rehydration station.
Yeah.
You walk down there, and if you hug the wall on the right, eventually you'll swing round. You'll see the building where Rita's launch is housed. You follow it round, and you'll be right where the entrance to both 13 and Rita is. So it's much faster than walking up and then across and then through. No one does it anyway, so it's dead. So yeah, that's the tip. Again, realistically, you want to kind of explore before you try and potentially do it. You know, Alton Towers is a mess. You just have to explore the park when you have time.
I need to get a map out and like draw it for people.
Yeah, so map-wise, the Alton Towers app I really recommend downloading the Alton Towers app. There's a map on there, and it is so much better to use as an actual map than the map you get on paper.
Yeah.
The map you get on paper looks good, looks nice, looks, fancy. It's useless.
Yeah.
Completely useless.
It doesn't properly show you the paths, does it?
No.
It's just
Whereas-
like general areas.
Yeah. Whereas the one on the app literally is a drawing of how it looks in real life. So the paths and their relative turns, twists, whatever, all on there. All the queue lines are on there with proper accuracy. The rides are on there with proper accuracy. It's very good. So use that one.
On that note, though, Greg said, go and physically check the queue length. It might not always be as long as the app says.
This is very true. Yeah. So the app sometimes is good, sometimes it's completely a shamble. At all theme parks, you kind of just have to learn how long the queues actually are,
Yeah.
The more you visit, the more you realize, well, if the queue's up to this point, I know it's half an hour. If the queue's up to this point, I know it's 60 minutes. Because parks don't always update the queue times, so it's very handy to know how long queues actually are. But again, it kind of comes with practice and it comes with visiting the park often. So
Blah, blah, blah. Don't sit down and eat on busy days. Eat in a long queue. We do that all the time.
yeah, so if you're on a really busy day, realistically, if you want to get food, you should either do it before or after the typical lunch time,
Yeah.
like 11:30 or 2 or 2:30. Because then, at the moment, Alton Towers doesn't really have a lot of food options, or at least after the accident, they quickly downscaled. And that made some of the areas quite busy, and they continue to be a little bit busy. So if you're on a busy day, I recommend pushing it back or bringing it forwards, respectively, to kind of avoid that mess.
Or taking your own food and just eating all day in the queues.
Yeah, you're allowed to take your own food to Alton Towers, so take advantage. You can do it to all Merlin parks, I'm pretty sure, so take advantage of it, save some money, whatever.
Eat more food. If there's a single rider queue, go in it with all your friends.
No, it's bad because
No.
you shouldn't do that. Like, people doing that is what makes the single rider queues annoying.
Yeah, but don't they mean going in ride singly, though?
Obviously.
Oh,
I
I
mean-
thought you meant people go in the single rider and then go, oh, there's four of us.
No. No, you can't do that. But, I mean, single rider queues are meant for single riders, If you have
Yeah,
a
but
group
they're
of...
technically they are single riders.
Yeah, but they're a group.
But they're still filling up the spaces where they're...
Yeah, but it ruins it for people who are actually by themselves.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's true.
You get massive groups of people going into the single rider line, and it just inflates the single rider line for people who could actually use it.
Yeah.
So,
And oftentimes, like, you have to stand there for ages anyway.
and
'cause
on
there's no
as you
gaps.
said, on busy days, the single rider line might be even longer than the normal one
Yeah.
because of people trying to use that. So it's difficult. You have to kind of weigh it up. Try not to abuse the single rider lines if you aren't a single rider, to actually let single riders have a good time.
I guess if there's like two of you,
Yeah, the
and
less
you
the
wanna
better.
quickly go on,
Yeah,
that's okay.
yeah, definitely.
But don't send like 10 of you in there.
No, please don't, because it's just stupid. And you have to wait ages anyway for everyone
Yeah,
to
that would
slowly
be
get through.
so long. You might as well all go on it together at that point. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Don't waste your time with Galactica VR.
I'd say experience the VR at least once. It's always worth to have a go, even if people say it's crap. You've got to experience it yourself to truly
and then
understand
you
what it's
can
like.
say that it's crap.
Yeah, if you want.
Otherwise, your opinion does not matter.
But they are right. The VR queue is longer than the non-VR queue, usually by a significant margin. So if you want a short queue, don't have the VR.
Pray that the Galactica trains get filled up entirely. That's just an operations error.
Yeah, so at the moment, it's like, or as of 2018, it was 3 out of the 7 rows with VR. But then sometimes there weren't enough people to fill the non-VR seats or rows. So the train would literally dispatch with 3 rows filled.
Yeah.
Which is, it's really tough because obviously when you add VR to a ride that's not designed for VR, it makes it hard to run. But it used to be all VR, but then Alton Towers downscaled the VR because people didn't want it anymore.
Yeah.
But then as soon as they did that, more people wanted the VR. So you have to find the balance. It is tough. I don't know. It's the real question is whether VR is going to last much longer.
I don't think it will. Because nobody
knows?
goes on it anymore anyway, so...
They'll get to a point where they just give up on it, probably.
That's everything.
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple of other things.
Go on then.
Classic cut through that we like to do. Through the Smiler toilets.
Oh, God, yeah. That one's pretty dodgy, though, isn't it, really?
Just walk through... I don't know if you know them, but these toilets, there's a door on either end. You just walk through it.
So as you're coming up to the Smiler... So you're walking past Spinball Whizzer from the entrance, Spinball Whizzer down through the alleyway. Instead of going up the hill to your left and entering X Sector from the entrance, on the right there's toilets. They're a bit hidden. If you just literally walk, as I said, all the way through, it brings you out just past the X Sector entrance.
Love it.
You don't save much time, but you do save time.
But you save a hill.
It's less effort, yeah.
It's a great one.
It's
quite fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wrote run to Wicker Man as soon as the park opens.
That's a dangerous one, though.
And by that I mean literally run, because that's what we do.
If you're not near the front already, then it can be a dangerous game to do that. You know.
But you got to be at the front.
Yeah, if you're at the front, then sure. But if you're not at the front, then you got to be careful. And all of the early ride time people might have already joined the queue again, so it's already inflated by a little bit. So you kind of have to weigh it up. It's tough.
So crazy.
Yeah.
Walk if there's a long queue for the monorail.
Yeah. Yeah. The walk to the tower, the actual entrance is like 15, 20 minutes from the car park.
Yep.
It's a bit of a trek, but...
Depends where you park, though.
Yeah.
If you can, you should park, like the closest bit of the car park to the walk.
Well, it depends if you want to walk.
Yeah.
Another tip, actually, which is quite a good one. This requires you to either have paid for parking in advance, so you have the slip, but if you end the day in the Forbidden Valley, they open up the gates to the car park allow guests to go into the roller coaster restaurant after hours. So it makes the walk go from 20 minutes to 3.
Yep.
And that's if you end the day in the Forbidden Valley, pretty much only. So
we used to do that quite a lot, didn't we? Because we used to ride Galactica at the end of the day.
Yeah, but now Wicker Man exists, so...
It's messed the plan up. Wicker Man properly messed the plan up.
Yep.
Anyway, that's all I got. It's everybody's favourite theme park.
Is it though?
Thorpe Park.
So my route for Thorpe Park has only kind of come into fruition recently. Mm-hmm. After, a bit of trial and error here and there, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work, listening to what other people do. And now I feel like I've got it pretty much down to a T.
Okay.
Thorpe's a mess.
Yeah.
It's a small park. Queues explode very quickly. Mm-hmm. So, again, you need to get there before the park opens. They'll let you in early. You need to be ready for it to open.
And there's no excuse because the car park is right there.
Yeah. Usually, what they'll do is they'll open the park a few minutes, like 10 minutes early, right? You can go into the dome and they just have like barriers that a little bit outside of the dome that splits or stops people from going into the specific areas. Mm-hmm. So you want to be waiting for that barrier to drop so that you can go straight to your first ride, right? And this is what me and Aaron did when we went in 2017. We didn't get there first, but we walked our way to the front of the barrier drop. Then barrier dropped. Quick walk to, fast-paced walk to Colossus.
And by fast-paced we mean, those race walkers.
Yeah.
Exactly like that. You look like an idiot, but you're going to be there first, so no worries.
Exactly. And so depending on how much you care, Colossus first thing, you can either do it normal queue, get it done quickly, or you can do, if you're lucky, you might even be the first people in the queue. But
what a lucky person.
but if you are the first people in the queue, I'd recommend joining the front row queue
Yeah.
because front row Colossus is nice.
Less painful.
Yeah, if you want to just get it done, then fine, any other one. But Colossus is the go-to. Operations are usually trash. Sometimes it runs one train, quickly gets up to 70 minutes. You need to do it
Not worth
first.
the queue. Not worth a 10-minute queue.
No. So Colossus, then near Colossus is Saw the Ride. Again, the queue, Saw is an odd one. Sometimes the queues are high, sometimes they're not so high. So with Saw being right there though, again, at the start of the day, 5-minute queue, you literally walk on it. So get it done there and then. Colossus, Saw. Then it's a journey to Nemesis Inferno, which again has sometimes terrible operations for an inverted coaster.
Yeah.
I'm talking 3-minute dispatches. It is painful. Again, that racks up a queue real fast, like 50 minutes.
I've queued so long for that ride.
Yeah, it sucks to queue that long. So again, you need to do that. That's next on the agenda. So Colossus, Saw, Inferno. Then Stealth is a good one to do. Usually, if you've nailed the timing so far, Stealth will be dead.
Yeah.
You can, and at this point, I'd recommend Stealth is only a short ride. Get some batch rides on it. When me and Aaron we went on it 5 times in the space of 15 minutes. So
Oh my god.
perfect, And then you can head over to the Swarm.
Woo.
Darren Brown's Ghost Train is obviously a ride that you might want to experience. It opens at 12 usually, so you can either try and be around there for 12, or you join the queue again at the end of the day, because usually Darren Brown's Ghost Train doesn't really have a good capacity, so the queue is quite high. So you can join that at the end of the day and experience that as your last ride of the day.
As long as it doesn't break down.
Yes, which is better now. So, but generally, yeah, that's my tips. That doesn't include The Walking Dead the ride because I just don't care to ride it. You might care to ride it. I don't know when's a good time to ride Walking Dead. We go to Thorpe much less often, so all the newer stuff is a bit more kind of like, I don't know what the best way to do this is. But realistically and generally, that's my way to do things. What have other people said?
Number 1 tip, don't go to Thorpe Park.
Yep, that's fair.
There's an absolute theme of this kind of banter. So, oh my god, everybody's talking about what time to get there. So, Amelia says get there by about 9:30 to be in the park for 10.
Yep, that's good, yeah. 9:30, you'll wait for the gates to open and you'll be ready for the rope drop. It's not a rope drop, but you'll be ready for it, so...
Glenn says get there early as never enough security to search the bags. That's a new thing, isn't it?
Again, this is true. You want to get there early so that you can get through the security. The security, once you start getting closer to 10, the queues for the security do start to ramp up. So,
Yeah.
again, yeah, be on point and on time with that.
Should I keep reading these banter comments?
Yep.
Get back in the car and hit the M1 up to Alton Towers instead.
Yep, it's a valid point.
Ooh, good tip. If possible, bring a small bag or no bag to avoid the security check lines, because you can just walk past them, can't you?
Yeah.
So depending on how much stuff you're going to bring.
Yeah. I mean, no bag is useful for any ride, really. You just less hassle then.
Because then you don't have to get your bag every single time you go on a ride.
Yeah, very true.
But you need stuff, so...
Yep. It's just toughy.
Let me just have a look here. I like this person. Don't ever go on Colossus.
Well, it depends.
It's a great tip. Colossus, as soon as the park opens, only time will be under 15 minutes.
Yeah, very true.
I saw another one like that as well. Start with Saw on Colossus as the public generally head for the Swarm or Stealth first.
I don't really know what they do. I mean...
You'd think that they would, because they're like the...
Yeah, but then the Swarm, Saw and Colossus are really the rides at the front of the park, so...
Yeah, I don't know. Blah, 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 blah. Save Swarm for the afternoon as it's usually dead past 3.
This is true. There's a point in time where Swarm goes from 40-minute queues to 15.
Yeah.
Just because of the way the crowds kind of navigate the park. Swarm is by itself it's on its own island, so you actively have to go out of your way to ride it.
Yeah.
So in the middle of the day, there is that point where people just kind of forget about it. So look out for that. Look out for that on the queue times and be ready to hop on.
Then we've got a couple of like shortcut tips. Do you have any shortcut tips?
Not really.
It doesn't even take that long to get places, does it?
No.
Someone said from Rush, cut around the back way down to Saw Alive. Oh yes, behind, where Saw Alive is.
Yeah.
There's that path.
Yeah.
That's quite a quiet one.
Yeah.
There was another path.
If you don't want to ride Colossus at the start of the day, then yeah, head down that path instead.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's also in the same place, there's the entrance to the park from the dome by the lockers and Quantum.
What, go down?
Yeah, because oftentimes we go out that way, don't we?
Yeah.
So it's not like the main path, it's like to the side.
Yeah.
We have one accommodation tip.
Mm-hmm.
We've never stayed at Thorpe Park before, have we?
No.
But somebody said staying in Shark gets you fed and at the dome entrance nice and early. Staff nearly always let you in before main crowd come in. So
And you get an hour fast track.
Yeah.
On your second day. So unlimited fast track for an hour.
Yeah.
You don't really need it, obviously. But, well, you don't need it at the start of the day, but towards the end of the day.
Well, they've
towards the
said
end of the hour, sorry.
Hours fast track also covers DGBT from opening
Yes.
12 to 1.
Yeah, so if you have that, it's a perfect time to hop on. There's some Premier Inns that are close to Thorpe.
Yeah.
So if you want to go off-site, I think Thorpe has much more options off-site than Towers, just because of where it is. So you'll probably be able to find a hotel that's only like a 10, 15, 20-minute drive away, which is a bit more doable than, 40.
Yeah. Somebody said about the flats, do them 11:30 to 1 and then 3 to 4. So I guess people... Well, that would suggest that they get busy at lunchtime.
The flats are
no,
at the
it
start,
doesn't.
aren't they? So
it means... Well, no, because that doesn't make sense, because that would mean it would be busy like just after lunch. But wouldn't you be sick?
Don't know. I don't know about the flats. Don't really...
We don't really do the flats.
No. I mean, they're not that great. Rush is okay. Cycle's very short, though.
Yeah. Samurai, single rider is a good shout.
Ah.
Is that the one...
Next to Saw.
The spinny...
The top scan, yeah, the spinny one.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it had a single rider anyway.
I didn't know it had a single rider. But that is a good shout, because, yeah, normally it's quite a long queue for just that thing. Anyway, that's it. That's all we got. Anything else?
Not really that I can think of. Don't ride Storm Surge. Sucks. Queue's too long for its own good.
Unless you're 9.
No, still not worth it.
Oh, flying fish, mate. Any
Flying
time
fish,
of day. Any time of day you want.
Usually it's pretty dead.
Get on flying fish. What else is there?
Tidal wave can get busy.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the day.
Unless it's a cold day.
Yeah. Towards the end of the day, it's not usually too bad, I don't think.
Yeah. But even on really hot days, we got on it quite a few times. So.
Yeah.
So that's all of our tips. We have passed on all of our knowledge to you now. That's it. That's all you're getting. And, reply to us. Tell us your tips. Tell us we're wrong. We love that.
Yeah, no, if you're listening to this retrospectively, yeah, do hit us up. What do you do? What tips have we missed? What routes have we missed?
Interesting.
Everyone's allowed to do it their own way, and everyone likes going a different way. Some people will avoid certain rides because they don't like them.
Exactly.
You might prioritize rides that you do like. So usually my ones are just kind of like, I want to get on all the big coasters, so that's what I'm going to do.
Yep. So we've been saving up our little voice questions. So we have about 3 to do.
Let's hear them.
This one is from Digital Dan, and he says...
Is anything more epic than Francis Jackson?
Do you know who Francis Jackson is?
No.
He is the operations director or something like that at Alton Towers.
Oh, wait.
Operations manager.
The guy from the videos.
Yeah, the Aussie guy.
Love that guy.
I'm Francis Jackson. Operations director
the
here at the
answer
Alton Towers Resort.
The answer is no.
No, he is the most epic man. That
he
guy
wins
is an absolute ledge.
everything.
Haven't seen him for a while though, you know? He hasn't had to come out and do this ride broke down, but it was safe. Don't worry about it for a while, which is good, obviously.
Yeah, but
So,
we miss you, so
we
do
do.
something else.
Maybe we'll see him more in the future.
Do something more positive, maybe.
He has done a few other
Just
videos
be
for the
like,
park.
this ride has never broken down. And here's why.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Good name, Coaster Master.
Can you see Rocky Mountain Construction making inverted coasters with their T-Rex or Raptor track? I feel like that'd be a very interesting layout in the way it would look, but it would be glossy smooth.
I'm going to hand this one over to you, Harry.
The answer, realistically, is if you're looking for anything like RMC Raptors we've seen now, where the inversions are, not the inversions, but the elements are really snappy and it's really fast and it goes through all the elements really quickly, can't do that on an inverted coaster. Inverted
Right.
coasters are much less versatile than sit-down ones.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the world of inverted coasters is not as much as a thing now than it used to be. Or at least the world of thrilling inverted coasters. I think more and more nowadays it's like family scale
Yeah.
inverted coasters or suspended coasters or whatever. I feel like RMC could do it, but I feel like they won't do it just because it's not in their ethos to make a ride that isn't versatile and fast-paced and really snappy and loads of airtime, and you just can't do that with an inverted coaster.
Yeah.
So, good question. I highly doubt it.
Okay, last one. It's from Ash. I said that really weird. Ash.
So, hi, Zoe and Harry. My name is Ash. I plan to go back to Germany this summer with friends and possibly go to Hansa Park. So my question is, what were your thoughts on the launch of Flux von Novgorod, seeing as it is currently the second fastest accelerating launch on any operating coaster in the world? An additional question is, do you like the new intermin restraint seen on coasters such as Taron? So I hope to see you guys at Blackpool Pleasure Beach maybe sometime soon. Thank you also for being very responsive on Messenger and YouTube, Harry. Thank you, guys.
Hold on. 2 questions.
Yep.
Hansa Park, go. I know nothing.
Yeah, so Flux von Novgorod, that launch is like a punch, literally. So you kind of do this small dip. You know on Saw, when you have the axes or the blades
yeah.
at the very start, where you kind of do that really abrupt dip down.
Yeah.
It's got one of those, but it dips you straight into the launch straight.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
You dip down and you basically go like that because it just shoots you down.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as you go over the fin, you're thudded back into your seat. You've got like a huge amount of acceleration in such a small amount of time, and then you shoot straight up into an airtime hill, ejector airtime, and then you carry on with the ride. That launch it just takes your breath away, kind of, really. It's just so kind of unexpectedly powerful.
Yeah.
You know, it's not sustained, it's a punch, but it's a massive punch. If you're talking LSM launches, that's probably the best LSM launch I've experienced, just because of how intense it is for that second or so. It really is powerful, more so than Taron and Rock and Roller Coaster and Icon and Blue Fire by miles.
Why
miles.
did you even put Icon in that list?
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, even Taron's second launch is not comparable to the likes of Novgorod. So, but talking of Taron, the restraints, very good. They're very, very good,
They're comfortable.
They are. They're very comfortable and very open at the same time.
Yeah.
I prefer, Mach's restraints are very good. They're lap bars, they're comfortable, but Icon, Helix.
Okay, thank you.
But
I knew it was Helix.
they're a bit more kind of,
Yeah, but Helix has a seatbelt, so...
ignore the seatbelt.
yeah, they're fine then. They're fine.
Yeah, they're fine, but
I think Tarons are better.
Yeah, because on Mach's coasters, you have this seat that's around you, and you kind of feel more closed in. Whereas on Taron, you're much more open to the elements. You're much more free. You literally just
They
you just
pin in.
exist.
Yeah.
So
It's like 2 fingers
yeah,
are
holding
just
you
like
in.
on your chest, like holding you there.
Yeah, it's very good. So I very much enjoy those restraints. They're up there for me now with like Gerst lap bar restraints and the B&M clamshells. They're all very, very good stuff. So love them.
Love a good restraint.
Well, I love a good restraint.
Yeah, not a bad restraint.
Exactly.
Okay, that's it, I guess. Now we have to do all the faffy outro bits. Harry stops talking immediately.
I was watching the video. I was listening to the end of the audio too, if that was it.
Yeah. That's it. That's all your tips.
Yep. All your tips for the UK parks that we know. You know, there's Blackpool, but I haven't been to Blackpool enough to really know what to do when.
Yeah.
Steeplechase, apparently that could be a good one to get on first, as well as the Pepsi Max big one, or just the big one.
I literally have no idea about Blackpool.
But yeah, Blackpool.
Couldn't
weird.
tell you. I mean, we
place.
only want to tell you about things that we're qualified to tell you about, guys.
But you know, we'll
'Cause we're professionals, you know.
we'll think about doing more of these once we have some more tips for parks. You know, once we've been to some parks multiple times, we could talk about how we got through stuff. You know,
Yeah.
like maybe Liseberg and Phantasialand when we head back to those.
We
and
also
then-
have an episode planned about just general like trips. So like how to plan a trip and stuff like that. Because we have done that quite a lot. So that's an episode. But next time it's going to be back to Coaster History, I think. To continue our journey.
Very nice. So stay tuned. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you next time.
No. We've got
No.
to say all the Twitter stuff.
Go on then.
CBR Podcast on Twitter. Coastbot Rambles Podcast on YouTube. What's the email address? coasterbotrambles@gmail.com or something. Go to the website, find it all on there. You can send us a voice message and rate us on iTunes, I guess.